Good morning and welcome to Crossfire. My name is Againi Shema, and on Crossfire today we'll be doing a follow-up on some particular issues which we talked about last week on Crossfire, and I'm talking about the anti-corruption war in the judiciary. Now, what do you think? Public opinion is probably divided right now on the activities of operatives of the DSS and the fight against corruption, particularly in the judiciary. Today on Crossfire, I am being joined by Mr. Judges McNobson. He's our in-house news correspondent, and he will be letting us know his opinion on some of these issues. Although we have other guests joining us in the course of the program, but let's take it on with Mr. Judges. Welcome to Crossfire.
Thank you, Sioma.
I hope it wasn't difficult, having to get you on with us, well, understanding your busy schedule.
Yes, it's a concern to me, Sha, but I can do with it.
All right, then. Thank you for joining us on the program today. Now, let us know your thoughts on the activities of the DSS. Now, a lot of people believe that the activities of the DSS, it's a direct contravention of the separation of powers, the executive's incursion into the judiciary. But do you think that is what a lot of Nigerians hold on to?
What I would say here is strictly my opinion. It's entirely my opinion. Mm-hmm. Because why I'm saying this is because I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a politician either. Mm-hmm. So I'm just talking from my own point of view. And what I want to say is this. What I understand with the DSS, they are security agencies. Though the raid might have come to Nigeria as a surprise, as a shock, to Nigerians as a shock. But I want to believe that they know what they're doing. For me, a lot of people are saying that they've gone beyond their boundaries, they didn't follow due process and all that. But for me, I ask this question, what is due process? What were they expected to do before carrying out the raid that they carried out?
Well, the Administration of Criminal Justice Act has laid down certain procedures, in which also includes forceful entry in the events, where some of these conditions. But apparently now, even within the judiciary, now we were having lawyers coming out to say, well, the DSS shouldn't have been the ones to have led the operation. For some people, since this borders around financial crimes, some persons have, some lawyers also have been saying that the EFCC would have been in a better position to have carried out this act, but not the DSS. Yes. But then today, in one of the breaking news and informations, we also have it that during the October 7th raid, illegal firearms were found in the possession of one of the embattled judges. So could this have also preempted the DSS to have been the one to carry out that activity and not the EFCC?
You see, we tend to make a mountain out of a molehill. Some lawyers have said that, oh, we are in support of what the DSS has done. Mm-hmm. Some have said no, that we are not in support, that they should follow due process. But I ask this question, if the EFCC had been the one that carried out the operation, if the police had been the one that carried out the operation, what would have been the difference? The end justifies the means. What we want to achieve in Nigeria, what the federal government, the Buhari administration wants to achieve, is to fight corruption. Whichever way is fighting it, with the security operative, which he deemed fit to fight it, let them go ahead. The fact of the matter is that the DSS have done this, and they have gotten what they wanted. If they are not in a position to prosecute these people, they will transfer to the AFCC. It's simple. These security agencies work together. That is what I want to believe. I don't understand why some people will say it's the duty of the police, it's the duty of the EFCC, or what? What I know is that corruption is being fought by this government, and the government is in the know that the DSS is going to carry out this operation.
Okay, well now, because so far from your comments, it's obvious that you're in favor or you're in support of the anti-corruption war. But now, looking at it, do you think that the anti-corruption war would probably achieve a justifiable means at the end of the day, justifiable results, knowing fully well now that in some of the build-up, some of the information which is also in the public domain, which has it that Justice Iyan, one of the embattled justices of the Supreme Court, came out in his letter to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, did say that the reason why the DSS were after him was because he refused to help, a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
He refused to play along with them.
Exactly. So when we say, because right now, Nigeria should brace up for more revelations, probably more shocking revelations, which may point to certain members in office. So if, like we're having play out right now, do you think these cases will be followed through to the end? Do you see this as one of those cases we probably forget and, over time will be killed?
It is possible that we get something out of it. And it is also possible that we don't get anything.
If we don't get anything, of what purpose would that have been?
Let me finish. What I'm saying in essence is this. When Buhari came to power, he made some comment that the judiciary is frustrating the fight against corruption. I'm not quoting him, but I know that he said that. Now, with the event that is unfolding now, with the arrest, the raids of the judges, one wants to relate what he has said to the action of the DSS. If the government continues with what it's doing now, if the government refuses to be derailed by the agitation, by the shouting and the cry, by some segments of the judiciary, a lot of things we do not know. That we know that a lot of things are being covered, that people are not talking. People that know are not talking. Okay, if not that they raided his house, that is Justice John Okon.
Okay.
If not that they raided his house, we won't know that they tried to actually bribe him. You understand? So it is now left for him to prove that there was an attempt to actually bribe him then by the people he actually alleged. Then why I said it is possible that we might not achieve anything from it. It is possible if the government refused to be derailed. But it might also not be possible if these sections of the judiciary and some people that felt that, oh, this anti-corruption war is actually affecting them. And they're beginning to also use the press to kill? Yes. Like someone will always say that corruption is bigger than Nigeria. And that is just the truth. As the government is fighting corruption, corruption is fighting back. And it is fighting back from multifaceted angle. And that is why it seems as if we are not seeing the fight, the result of the fight against corruption.
No, but when you look at it also, I understand completely your perspective. But I remember also Professor Isse Sage, who is the chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee on some of these matters.
Corruption.
Earlier in the year, I remember he talked about it and said that they were also considering creating special courts. Yeah. So we have special judges who are trained in this area, and then all they have on their case list are corruption-related matters. Yeah. Now, at the end of the day, because if we are to be said to be winning the war right now, and if the government can tell us both that, yes, they're putting certain machineries in place, then I think by now we should have started seeing some of these things being implemented. And then we know that the legislative, they have a lot of role to play, because it's not just about the judiciary. The buck stops here, probably on the table of the judges, and then, I mean, Nigerians can only appeal to God after they leave this physical realm. Yes, but then the judges also have procedures which they follow. So if the government of the day if the government of the day is truly ready to pursue, these matters, then why haven't we seen the legislative actively taking on some roles in terms of amendment of certain laws or creating certain laws which will also help the judiciary and the executive in delivering their promises to the people?
Yes, I agree with you, but what the misconception in what you've said now, let me just play it out. Just recently, was it 3 days ago or, yes, Tuesday or Wednesday, the Professor Isa actually, his committee actually submitted their report. They just submitted that report to the president. And part of the recommendation they made were recommendations that will actually will go to the National Assembly to become laws. Mm-hmm. Part of it is what you've mentioned, that there will be establishment of special court. Mm-hmm. But you see, why this thing is being delayed, I want to believe that why it's being delayed is because they are waiting for this report, and they need to send this thing to the National Assembly. If you really want to get results from what you are doing, and I think that is what they are doing. Okay. If they really want to, they have realized that sending these people to the normal court will not give them what they want.
Will probably frustrate the process in terms of delays.
Exactly. So what they wanted to do, I mean, what they want to do now is that they by the time they finish this, they send these bills. This recommendation have been written as bills, and now they are sending it to the National Assembly, and the National Assembly will now pass them into law. If you listen to the National Assembly, the news yesterday, they were saying that they are going to support this government to ensure that the government fights their anti-corruption to the finish. To the embarrassment. Exactly. So I want to believe that they know what they are doing. I've said it. I said if they refuse to allow their fight, the war, to be derailed. But I tell you something. There are some segments, some segments of some school of thought, or perhaps some section of this country, or some group of people. Let me just say some group of people that are just down to fight the Buhari anti-corruption, to fight back, so that he will not succeed.
Okay, now do you think, if the government of the day has the Nigerian people on its side, do you think the government will be able to achieve significant results?
Yes. Yes. If they decided to do it rightly.
Okay, now in doing it rightly, now on CROSSFIRE, some of our previous
the rightly I'm saying is, if they try to make these things law, this recommendation that they just submitted, if the National Assembly help them in making it, in passing it into law, the bills into law, and it becomes law, then you are standing on something to do something. Like the lawyers will say, they'll say you cannot build something on nothing.
Nothing unexpected to
so
start.
So if what they are doing now is like they are building something on nothing, because we've seen that anti-corruption war in the past, Nigeria didn't really gain anything from it. So I think that is why, if you listen to the professor yesterday, he said Nigerians should thank Buhari, should be glad that Nigeria is their president at this time. That if Buhari is not the president at this time, that Nigeria will be no more.
Okay, now let's look at the just concluded National Anti-Corruption Conference. The chairman of the EFCC, Mr. Ibrahim Magu, made a recommendation. He made a request that a certain percentage of proceeds from corruption funds should be left, for use by the anti-graft agencies, probably to also help and aid their activities, in the fight against corruption. Now, but on CROSSFIRE, some of our previous episodes, our honorable guests were also able to lay, a very principled foundation that, look, we do not have a Whistleblower Protection Act in Nigeria. And this is something which is fundamental to fighting corruption. For as long as the whistleblower is not protected, you will always have citizens who have concrete information staying away for either the personal safety or no proper motivation. Now, I was reading some of this information, and I talked about it, that what if the whistleblower gets to get a certain percentage of the recovered funds? That is, if a whistleblower is able to provide concrete informations, you will have drivers, you will have cooks, you will have domestic staffs, people who, members of corporate organizations who are aware of the monumental level of corruption ongoing in wherever it is they are. You will have these persons coming out to give concrete information to the anti-graft agencies, which will help fight and kill corruption. Now, I decided to have this, the little conversation with someone, and the person said, no, why should you have that? But then what is your opinion? Do you think this will go a long way in helping the fight against corruption?
It will
and
go.
What do you think of the chairman's request?
According to him, he made references to other crimes, like Britain, the United States, and all of that. I think it's not for him to come to the press and say this is it, because I understand that he said that at a workshop.
Yes.
So, and I don't think saying it at a workshop will actually repair the damage. Okay. You see, the problem we always have in this country is that you know the right channel to follow. You know that this is what is obtainable in other crimes, and you refuse. You see, these are things as the chairman of the EFCC that he should have just made recommendation of, seek an audience with the president and talk to him that, oh, this is how it is. This is it. You make the suggestions to him, and then you make him understand what you are saying, so that he can buy into it. Then you now okay, we have discussed about it. Go and do something about it. Maybe you need to put it in the black and white so that we can now see how we can insert it into the laws, into the Constitution. It's simple. You just don't go to the press and expect that when you say this, the president will now say, okay, EFCC, you can take this 55%. It's not possible. And I know that even what he has said, several times he has gone before the National Assembly, and he doesn't deem it fit to actually tell them this is what we need to encourage us to improve the operation of the agency. You need, there are certain things okay, now I
may have to cut here, Mr. Judges. I apologize, but then we have our other guest who is standing in to join us on the program. Thank you so much, Mr. Judges, for joining us on short notice. Thank you so much. And then we'll go on this short break. When we return, we'll have our other guests in the studio. Stay around. This is still Crossfire. We'll be right back. You're welcome, and this is the Crossfire. We had Mr. Judges with us, and he helped us. He took us through, an interesting, analysis on the program. Well, the second half of Crossfire today, I am being joined by Mr. Desmond Magica. Of course, you know him. He's an environmentalist. He's an activist, and yes, he is so passionate about a new Nigeria. You're welcome, Mr. Desmond.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Now, of course, I know you're not a lawyer, but then I am going to take you through on public opinion. The public has been divided on the anti-corruption campaign. And then for some people, they feel the government is going about it the wrong way. For some people, they look at it as mere witch hunt. But then a lot of Nigerians are also happy that the government is doing something about fighting corruption, because for many, they believe if the government does not kill corruption, corruption will eventually kill Nigeria. But then for some, they look at the Chibok girl kidnapping scenario. For some, they believe if we did not have corruption in Nigeria, we would never have had any kidnapping of that sort, of that magnitude. If we did not have corruption in Nigeria, we would not be today talking about an economy in recession because of the pipeline vandalisms and all that. So what is your take, talking about court of public opinion?
Well, I have one question to ask you, and I know the answer will be yes. Do you have a smartphone?
Yes, I do.
You probably have a couple of smartphones.
Yes, I do.
And the proliferation of smartphone amongst the general public in Nigeria is massive, and it is expanding at a phenomenal rate, okay? Basically, what it means is that the typical average Nigerian is now having in their possession what I call the weapon of warfare of the new revolution. There's a revolution going on in the world that is based on electronic communication, just like exactly what is happening right here in this studio. Here we are talking, somebody in Hong Kong or somebody in Mississippi could be tuning in, let alone our own people in different parts of Nigeria, because of this electronic communication revolution that is going on. And it is giving the people an unprecedentedly powerful voice. You're talking of the courts of public opinion. Yes, we can have our opinions, but if I'm sitting there alone in my room and saying da 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 ba 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 ba, and nobody can hear me, my opinion is worthless. Sure. But because of the weapon of warfare for the revolution that is going on right now, I can have my opinion, I can express that opinion through my smartphone, and people all over the world can hear me. Hundreds of millions of people can communicate this way. So the court of the public opinion, it is gaining its power, it's developing its ground, and very, very soon, nobody in government will dare defy that court of public opinion, because it is going to be immediate, it's going to be right there in your face, and it is going to be the representation of the people. And you know, there's a saying that the voice of the people is the voice of God.
Well, I don't know if I can quite agree with that saying anymore. But then, of course, when we look at the pages of the newspaper, we see anti-corruption war against, if I can say, the elite and the past government officials. But the greater burden at the end of the day still lies with the people. Now, day in, day out, activities, nefarious activities are still being carried out by Nigerians at the grassroots level. Corruption in various forms, and I'll give an example. Locally manufactured products, which ordinarily should not be super expensive in the market, prices have escalated of locally produced food chains and all that. And at the end of the day, when you've asked these individuals, why are these things so expensive? They'll tell you, oh, change. Some of them will tell you, if you can buy it for so and so amount as XYZ, why can't I sell it for? These are attitudinal problems which are corrupt in nature, but it seems like the government today is probably more focused on fighting it from the political perspective, thereby neglecting that they need to also send a concrete message across to the people. Now, when you say the voice of the people is the voice of God, a lot of Nigerians who are also lending their voices on social media or on various platforms against, against corruption in Nigeria are guilty of corruption themselves. So how do you see this playing out over time? Yeah, negatively or positively?
No, it's a process. It's definitely a process. And if you have a malignant disease in your body, and it's really grown and it's malignant, the first intervention is to go in and remove the prominent part, the most prominent part. Remove it, boom, straight away. Once you've done that, then you now start the therapy, different types of chemotherapy, and then even relating and going on from the chemotherapy, you have diet therapy, you have lifestyle therapy, and that's when the real change will come. But if we're going to ever win this battle against corruption, which has become an endemic disease in our system, then it has to start the way it started, from the top. Yeah, if there's political grudges, axes to grind, and so on, it's just natural that human beings, in their imperfection, will use that opportunity of doing that and grinding those axes with those people. But at least it has started in a very realistic way. And then eventually it will filter down to the people. It's all down to indoctrination. And the process has already started. There was a time, you see, I have one nationality, even though I could have two because of my mother's birthplace and so on. I've always held on to my Nigerian passport, convinced that one day I shall be so proud of this passport. And believe you me, I've been so ashamed of my nationality for so many years when I traveled and so on and so forth. And just a little thing like, well, it's not that little. I used to have to tell people that, do you know that in my dear country, it's probably one of the few countries in the world where a person born blind from birth can actually have a genuine, original driver's license. However, guess what? Oh, guess what? This was before. Now there's a process. There's a process.
And all that's changing.
And it has started to change the whole process of change. And that is, corruption in its most gross form, on the lowest level, that a blind person can actually have a driver's license because all you had to do was just go and pay some money and they give you the license. It's not like that anymore. It's changed. And that change that's happening in the licensing department, it's also beginning to slowly filter. But it's an indoctrination process. And government need to spend a lot more time, a lot more energy on just continuing to enlighten the people about how bad corruption is.
A lot of people will say, sir, that enlightenment and that transitional change is happening at a very, very slow pace. And I'll probably give some illustrations. Now, yes, the government of today is fighting corruption against the political elites, but let's look at the educational sector. We have situations where a lot of parents, I'm talking about real fact now, a lot of parents have had to withdraw their children from schools, even within Nigeria, because of the poor state of the economy. A lot of companies have not paid their staff salaries. Some have resorted to paying half, or not even at all, or even having to downsize. Now, we have situations where even the educational system itself, it's nothing to write home about. We have schools where certificates are given at the end of 4 years or 5 years, but no direct impact. I mean, someone was making a joke, and the person said, when we're in primary school, we're taught the parts of an insect, the head, the thorax, the wings, the antenna, whereas in Japan, I'm using this as an example. In Japan, children were nurtured from that young age and taught how to manufacture. You look at the effect of that today. You go to our markets, 95% of the electronics you have are brought in from these countries. What do we have to show for ourselves? Yes, the change is happening. The anti-corruption war has started, but what immediate results are we seeing in the economy?
Well, you see, the thing about, this is a very relevant question, and I'm glad you're homing in on that, because, but the thing about disease, we said that this corruption is like a terrible cancer, it's a disease, and, quite often, the result of having a disease in a body is that the body becomes comatose, it dies. Yes, the corruption is such a terrible disease.
I may have to hold you on here,
and
please. I am so sorry, please. We have a call. Let's take David's call, please.
Okay.
Hello, David. Good morning and welcome to CROSSFIRE.
Mr. Sharma.
Good morning. Can you please speak up a little so I can hear you properly?
Yeah. We Nigerians,
Thank you.
Tell ourselves the truth. We must find where the foundation of this corruption started.
Okay.
I could remember I was so young, 2021, when we have austerity. The same thing they call recession today. Before Shagari, which is democratic government, elected president, take the position in 1979, there was 2.8 billion missing in Nigerian revenue.
Okay.
After Shagari took over, we have austerity because of that, the money that was lost. And the foundation of that corruption is our uniform men. Look at the time of Obasanjo 2.0 was missing. At the time of Babangida, a lot of money was into the hand of multinational companies. At the time of Abacha, now we are still chasing Abacha loot. Now, in this country today, the military men, they are the principal anchor of this corruption. The police are their teachers. Nigerians are the students. Politicians are the students. So by the time the politicians graduate to become the president, now the military and the police, they are in control. Putting Nigeria in a way whereby you cannot even know where to start to deal with corruption. The thing is just overspread. Do you know how many uniform men who are billionaires in this country? How will you judge those people when they have a gun or a police? How many houses they build all over Nigeria, estates and other things like that? We are only tapping ourselves as an individual civilian. We don't even know anything what is going on.
Okay, David.
Thank you. God bless Nigeria.
Amen. God bless Nigeria. Thank you so much, David, for your contributions. Okay, now, Mr. Desmond, I may have to narrow down on the environment here. The environment is one of the most important factors. In fact, it is the most important factor for human survival. And now the government of today has told us that in its bid to help the economy grow, it has decided to look at diversification. And yes, Nigeria is blessed with a lot of solid mineral resources. I mean, one of the highest in the history of the world today. Now, in diversifying and in tapping into this naturally blessed, endowed resources, of course, we know there are certain guidelines, environmental guidelines, which has to be followed. But now we look at some of the claims by the activists in the Niger Delta region on oil spills, manhandling of some of these facilities by even the exploration companies in those regions. Now, by the time we begin to harness some of our other God-given natural resources, in diverse parts of the country, how sure are we that the government will follow through? The government, and when I say the government, I mean, well, the government and the private sector will follow through on following these laws to the letter in the best industry practices, in ensuring that the environment is well protected. So in the next couple of years, we do not have a resurgence of any sort owing to degradation of the environment and all that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, look what's happened because of oil extraction. Imagine despoiling a particular area for the next 30 years. Ogoni land alone, for the next 30 years, it's going to take 30 years to clean up that place. And the kind of pollution that has been perpetrated there is the most shocking, terrible type of pollution you could ever imagine. You wouldn't even want to wish that on your worst enemy. And what have we done? We put that on the people of our nation. And we've actually ensured that a large percentage of the children of that area will never grow up into maturity. They will die young because we have polluted the atmosphere so bad, 900 times the normal value of benzene, which is a carcinogenic chemical. Terrible pollution in that area because of oil destruction.
We're still having pipeline vandalism. So how much of information, how much of awareness has been taken even to the youth?
Yes.
Basically, when I say the youth, I'm not limiting this alone to youth from the Niger Delta region. I'm talking about youth across board. So tomorrow we do not have reoccurrence
not nearly enough. But it's not just the awareness, because they might become aware, but it's also the empowerment. And that's why I alluded to your smartphone as being a weapon of warfare, a most formidable weapon of warfare for the revolution that has already started globally. Mark Zuckerberg was here. Young fellow came, billionaire fellow, and he has how many millions and millions of followers just on his Facebook. There's something going on. But what we need to do is we need to empower the young people. It's not just enough to have information flowing, which is fantastic, and that's the beginning of the process. But we need to take it to another level now. And what I'm talking about is using this electronic device as a means of having your voice noted. In fact, the time will come, and I know people will say, I can never walk over. The time will come when you will be able to use this, your smartphone, to actually express your vote. Yes. Oh, yes. People say, no, they'll read it. No. Look, on a smartphone right now, you can actually transfer, there's a certain bank, you can transfer 6.5 million naira every day from your account. That's assuming the money is there to be transferred. It would be nice, we pray the money will be there in many, many, many accounts. Yeah, so if it's secure enough to transfer 6.5 million naira every day, then we're just a very small step away from making it secure enough to be able to express your vote. And when you can express your vote, that's when we're going to be able to put people into power and out of power. That's when the new democracy that is coming to hit the world is going to come. It's going to come through electronic media like this. It's going to come through the technology of social media and smartphones. So when the people actually have a real voice, as opposed to just awareness, that's when we'll say no to all this. Immediately, oh, you're doing solid mineral mining in a certain area, and there's something gone wrong in that area. The people there will show you the picture straight away. Boom, this is what happened. Mercury has leaked from this particular mine into such and such place. Children have been affected. Boom, it goes into a social media network. Boom, immediately the young people who are now registered as electronic media voters will immediately get onto the representative of government in that area and say, hey, look, what's going on? People are dying because of bad mining practices, and we are paying you to represent us there. Boom, 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 boom. In no time at all, get out, put somebody else in. A revolution has started, and there's no stopping it at all. You don't even if you cut off the electricity, we'll use solar power to give us the electricity.
Well, I completely agree with what you said, sir. Now, you talked about, revolution, the awareness, and also empowerment.
Oh,
now,
yes.
I know Nigerians are one of the most gifted individuals on planet Earth. Quote me anyway. Of course, I have faith in Nigerians, and the successes are there. The results are there. The Nigerians are doing well in various fields across the world. Now, also looking at empowerment here, we look at our research institutes. We have young children wasting away who are gifted, naturally gifted, but need a little fine-tuning to be able to come up with beautiful and amazing, innovations, inventions, and all that. Yeah, well, a lot of people have faulted the government on that aspect, that the government, has done little or nothing in helping and, harness that. But let's look at private sector, investment and investorship here, encouragement from good persons as yourself in this regard. What future do we have? What future do you foresee? Let's probably put a timeline within the next 5 years from today. How far do you think, Nigerians, will have grown, will have gotten to that level where we can say that, okay, yes, we're having, an intellectual revolution of this sort, where we're having Nigerians in Nigeria produce things which, have one of the best standards in the world, innovations which also meet, with the climate, which are climate friendly, if I can put it that way, and also can sustain and can also empower many other Nigerians in various, the various chain network to shun violence, to shun corruption and corrupt tendencies and focus. So, what do you think?
Yeah,
what timeline are you giving?
In no time at all. We can leapfrog into that. We're so lucky. What people may not appreciate, because of the various hardships and so on that's going on, is that this nation called Nigeria, this location is one of the most blessed locations on planet Earth in terms of its geographical diversity, the biodiversity, the ecological diversity, which lends itself to multiple of different type of agricultural activities. There's hardly anything that can't be grown in one part of Nigeria or the other. Is it the oil palm, or is it the cocoa? Or when you go upland, you can get all the temperate climate. We just have all that, all the agri. And then our rainfall pattern is quite healthy. It's quite good in terms of rain-fed agriculture. Even in the northern areas where you have lakes that shrink, as they shrink, you plant. Agriculture, we're blessed. Solid minerals, hey, the amount of solid minerals that we have, that the whole world needs. The whole world needs is all there. Bam! Not to mention our fossil fuels, our sunlight. We are blessed. And then on top of that, I don't know if it's our diet or whatever it is, But we have some sharp brains, some geniuses in this land as we're talking. They're all over the world as well. If you want to see space research, Nigerians are there. You want to see market leaders, Nigerians are there. All over the world, we're doing it. So we've been totally, totally blessed. Apart from, we've been also cursed by the aberration that happened when we murdered our democracy. At the same time, I was murdering our first prime minister and a good segment of his cabinet, and things just started falling apart and apart. And it's taken us a long time to just help us not to crash land. And now that we can see we're not going to crash land, the resilience of our people has showed itself. And you know, one shining example is the way that we fought Ebola. The way, oh my God. The resilience, the ingenuity, the braveness of Nigerians came to the fore at that time. If that man had escaped from the hospital into Obalende, the whole world would probably still be fighting.
A lot of people, well, I heard this on the street, and a lot of people, still attribute, the success in fighting Ebola to one man, the then governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babatunde Raji-Fashola.
Yeah, but he had a team. He had a team. He had a team of people. He had a team of people. Fashola fought it along with his team of people, along with the people in that hospital. Good, brave souls. They fought it, and that brought out the goodness, the greatness in Nigerians. And if we can do that, if we can help the world not to see Ebola, which is what we did, because the world would have seen Ebola, because Nigerians travel more out of the country more than any other African nation. And Obalende, if that thing had hit there, boom, Ebola would have gone to the world. We did it. We fought it. We can fast track our development. We can leapfrog, and that's what we need to do. We need to leapfrog. We were talking about smartphone. Other countries went through the process of landline and da-da-da-da. We leapfrog into a great future, and that's how Nigeria is going to continue to do.
I cannot thank you enough, Mr. Desmond Magica. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. And thank you, Mr. Judges McNobson, for joining us on the program. Thank you, Nigerians. Thank you, Lagosians, for joining us on the program. Remember, Crossfire is your political program. And you can join in on the conversation after the show on the social media handles, which are scrolling across the screen. Join me tomorrow as we go on another very interesting topic. Trust me, you wouldn't want to miss it. God bless Nigeria. God bless you, and thank you for joining us.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love am.